Live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the greatest show in the world. It's your boy PrizmGawds, and
Kobe.
he
Kobe
decided to
Collector
show up to
81,
work.
baby, in the house.
He decided to show up to work. We gotta have to book this guy. We gotta go ahead and put him on a calendar so that way we know exactly that he's gonna be here at work. How you feeling today,
It's
Kobe
hot out
Collector,
here
man?
for a parent, man. Feeling great, man. Feeling great.
Oh,
A little sad with the state of the hobby. I don't know what's going on. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit, man. But there's a
mm,
lot of pivoting. We talk about pivoting all the time. What direction we're going to move in with all the changes that have recently happened.
yep,
So I'm just interested, man. We're gonna talk about it, and of course we got an awesome guest on today, and kudos to
yeah,
you, man, for all these awesome guests you're starting to book, man. And look at that. What's
man.
that? What's that you got on? Where's my sports car sneaker shirt at, man? Look at that.
Hey, look at that. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we will have a sports card event, not a show, a event. It's going to be very special, right? We're going to have over 400 tables, 450 tables. It's July 16th through the 18th. And you all are my special guests, for checking it out. So, basically, everything that we kind of like I said, everything is for a reason, right? So we build up to every show. We always bring themes. We always talk about what's going on in the hobby. So this show is going to be so special. We have so many dope guests and we have so many sponsors who are definitely interested. So kudos to everybody who's joined up for the show already at early. We've already sold about 150 tables in a week. Kobe Collector, I'm gonna make him come. We're gonna tie him up and we're gonna make him a little smorgasbord and just put him on a table. And yeah, he's gonna sell you all the cards for 50% off.
Yep.
All right, so
I'm looking
last
forward to it, man. Some of the artwork that you came up with already, man, is really dope. I mean, that gets me excited just to see a lot of that stuff. If I'm
hey,
being honest.
man, I appreciate that. I think a lot of people that have seen the stuff, they love it. I've got a lot of good feedback from it. Next month, we plan on dropping the full line on the website. We're going to do pre-orders for the t-shirts. This is the unofficial shirt. As you can see, it has the wrong date on it because initially it was supposed to be a 2-day show, but we actually added a third day. Everybody and their mom was like, "You should do a 3-day show. You might as well just make it a 3-day." So I said, "You're right." So we went on ahead and changed it to the 16th through the 18th of July. Um, we have so many people interested, and I really appreciate you guys' support. The new artwork is dope. I think today we just broke the Ken Griffey Jr. T-shirt. We got the Spider-Man T-shirt. We got the official shirt of the show, Culture Collision, and I'm just really excited. I just want to continue to make you guys have fun, and we're gonna make it fun. Um, and that's basically it. What else? That's it.
I mean, it's going to be exciting. Yeah, it is
Mm-hmm.
definitely going to be exciting, man.
Yeah,
Kudos to the Prism God platform to putting that together. That's big time, man. That's rich people stuff.
man. I just want to continue to grow as a person and continue to grow as a collector and the hobby. And this, I feel like, is a way for me to give back. As I told my partner in the show, for me, it's not about making money. I feel like success and making money go hand in hand. So for me, it's not about making money. It's about being a successful show and making sure that people walk out leaving that show knowing that it was the best show that they've had this year. And if I do that, then I feel like that's a success for me. And whether I make money or not makes me happy. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
where I'm
that's
at.
dope. Well, I can tell you right now, with all the energy and all the focus and all the time you've been putting into it, man. And I know a little backdrop on the back end, what you got in the plans and on the works. So, I mean, even if that doesn't come into fruition, consider it a success.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-selling 150 tables. I mean, not just anybody can just hop up one day and say, "Hey, I'm going to put together a show." I mean, that takes
Mm-hmm.
a lot of preparation. And this didn't start yesterday. This didn't start last week. This has been going on for about a year now. I mean, when it
Yeah.
first the thought was birthed and kind of you kind of let it spoke and let it come out to the real world. You let it out into the universe. I mean, it's been going on for a while now, so it isn't something that just happened overnight. Coming
Mm-hmm.
up with the business plan, coming up with the business model, it isn't something that happens overnight. We talk about it all the time. Knowing your lane, doing some research into the stuff before you jump headfirst into it, and you've done that. and here we are, 150 tables sold. You got 4 T-shirts. Hopefully, I can get the number versions out of the 4 limited editions. And then, hey, the sky's the limit from there, man. So kudos to that. I know how hard you've been working on it, man. So much respect and love on that, man.
All right. So also, I appreciate that. First of all, I want to say I appreciate that. I appreciate your support as well. I do want to say that I know you missed last week's guest, but last week's guest was phenomenal. We had collectibles on there. We talked about fractional investing, which if you guys have not seen it, the people that are watching and listening, make sure you check out last week's episode. It was super dope. It was super informative. And collectibles actually going to be at the show in July. So which leads me to our new guest this week. Last week, all right, so let me backtrack a little bit, right? And then we're gonna kind of start the show. I know we kind of like we missing everything, but I get excited. So just disregard. But
Where's the intro? I mean, I know
oh,
I'm gone for a week. Did you get rid of the intro?
all right, you know what? Bump it. Let's do the intro. Now that was for you. That was for you.
Oh man, I love it. Hey man, I even like looking back at that video. That's when I had a small beard, man. Now look at all this rough McGruff. Look like a lumberjack over here, man.
Hey man, you look just fine, man. You still pretty to me.
Oh man, stop it, man. Don't let my wife hear you say that, man. She might come slap me on the back of the head.
No, it's all good, man. So, all right, so like backtracking, right? So last week I had Collectible on the show. Funny story, the backstory about Collectible is they reached out to me about 2 months ago. No, I'm sorry, not Collectible. I'm sorry, I apologize. Whatnot. Whatnot is actually on the show this week. Now, so basically I'm backtracking a little bit. So Collectible was last week's show. This week is Whatnot, and we have Mike here on the show. He's going to talk to you about what's going on with that. They reached out to me like a couple months ago, and I had no clue what they were. I kind of thought it was spam. I kind of blew it off. I was kind of like, I don't really know what this is. And, any given time I get random mail, and I really didn't know who it was. So one of my friends said he had downloaded this app called Whatnot. And I was thinking to myself, like, what's Whatnot? He's like, man, you got to check it out. It's like a combination of like a more personal version of like eBay. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I've heard that name before. And so I was like, I started going through my text messages. I'm like, I think they hit me up. And so last week I premiered being on their app, and which led me to where we are now. And we're going to bring on a special guest, and he's going to talk to us a little bit more about it. Last week, my experience was pretty dope. I go live tomorrow, and he's going to bring my brother on right now. Is that cool? You got something else to say, Kobe Collector? Or am I talking too much? You good?
You
All
always
right.
you always talk too much, man, but I don't mind.
Hey, so look, let's bring this guy on. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for taking me out of the closet per se, and glad to be on the show. So, yeah.
Won't you introduce yourself to the world, man? Tell everybody who you are.
Yeah, my name is Mike, aka PrizmGawds on Instagram. Check me out. I started as a breaker, got into the hobby, about a year ago, listening to Gary Vee. Just a few things that he says, you're like, man, I wish I would have, invested in this, years ago, right? He puts his videos of back in the day, and you're like, man, this guy was spot on. So, first thing I did after work is I went to my LCS and grabbed 2 boxes of select basketball and a encased football box, and went home, and I was like, man, I'm going to hold these, right? I'm going to hold these. My shop owner said that, these are going to double in price in 3 months and this or that. And I called my brother, and he's been collecting, he hasn't stopped collecting. And he was like, what are you doing, Mike? Are you a collector, or are you an investor or a flipper? And he's like, rip those boxes, because he believes in like,
go brother, man, go brother.
Yeah. So
rip,
he doesn't
rip.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's, he doesn't even want to send his cards out to get graded. He's like, man, I'm not going to, I got these expensive cards. I'm not, I don't care about the grading. I'm holding on to these forever. He's, big into T206, a lot of those cigarette, cards. So, so I ripped him on FaceTime right in front of him, pulled a first Zion concourse, pulled a, Tyler Hero blue. I pulled a bunch of stuff, and, then it got into the
Congrats.
research. Thank you. And then I pulled into like the research phase, right? Where I was just, man, who's this player and who's this player? And, when you get into a new hobby, like, I'm not big into soccer, but I know if I buy a soccer card, it's going to make me want to research that entire, sport. So, I kind of just, that's what I did. And I went to my shop
What do
owner.
we say? What do we say, Mark? What do we say when we first got
No,
into?
you're
I
right.
hate cutting you off. No. I bought all those
Research.
boxes on soccer on Prism Soccer.
Yep.
I didn't sell one card until I figured out who was who and figured out
Mm-hmm.
what was going on. So for the people out there listening, take heed to what this man is saying. It's very important. If you're going to go ahead and invest into cards, don't make this mistake. Make sure you go ahead and research who you're actually investing in and potentially you might invest in the future. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
hold on, but that's not true because we invested a whole bunch of money in Prism Soccer, and we didn't know what the heck we were getting ourselves into. But
No.
we knew that there was we knew that there was a potential for growth in that product. We knew
Yeah.
Prism is the staple for any product that Panini puts out. That is a staple. Prism Guides itself, right?
Yeah.
So we knew that there was some investment potential in that product, and it turns out there's so much profitability out of that. We haven't even scratched the surface. So again, I apologize because we didn't know what the heck we were getting ourselves into. We just opened up like 4 cases of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's
no,
crazy.
that's good. But so I get all these cards, 2 hobby boxes in a case, and immediately next day after work, I drive down to the same card shop, and I'm like, "Here's what I have." And I was like, "Tell me what's good," and that's why I think supporting your LCS, especially I know a lot of people have experiences with inflated prices and this or that, but my card shop literally, I built a relationship with him to the point where I buy product and he just gives it to me at cost. It builds him allocation, it helps me out. He leaves meat on the bone. So I think that's a huge, help for me. And he's done really well, obviously, because cards have done amazingly. So, and he grades too. So, I just gave him all my cards, and it's funny. I actually got him back like 4 months ago. Took forever, but I gemmed 6 out of 6 on those cards. So,
Sick. You're lucky.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy because they've put so much pressure on PSA because they're like a large subber, and he says that when they usually put pressure on them, they kind of like 80% gem. They just kind of get it out the door. So yeah, so I did that, and once I gave my cards out, doing all this research, then I hit eBay. I was just searching for every single. It's like the phases, being a breaker for a year, an investor, collector, you go through the phases and you see the phases in the customers and the people that come on and break with you. You get into the hobby, you really have no idea per se on what to buy. You're buying everything. I mean, my first eBay purchase was like a contenders, pack, 2018. I had no idea what I was buying, but I was on eBay buying stuff, and next thing you know, I'm like $2,000, on eBay, just getting packages left and right. My wife's like, "What are you doing?"
Right. Fun times.
And then you get to a point where you're like, you start joining groups and you start like talking to other people because the wife, you just talk her ear off about sports and cards, and she just kind of just whatever, Mike. So then you start joining Facebook groups, and then I'm like, man, I need to start making some money. So that's kind of where the breaking aspect came into it, where I said, okay, I have a good job. I can afford to buy some boxes, and I'm in these groups. So let me try to see if I can go live. So that's kind of where the whole aspects, again, I was going in those big Facebook, the sport card groups with like 40,000 people doing live rips. I didn't sell a box until like the 3rd day. I was getting mad, and started doing dice rolls, like just random things. And eventually it took off, was breaking for about a month. And then a buddy of mine started House of Wax sports card community on Facebook. We're about 1,600 members. But breaking's slowed down. So if you guys are watching, sorry, it's apologize. Still love you, and catch me on Instagram. So or whatnot. So yeah. So that's
there you go.
yeah. So that's kind of me. Once the prices started skyrocketing, one of my good buddies who's actually in with Whatnot kind of said, "Hey, Mike, I trust you. I've been breaking with you for a while. Spent a ton of money with you. How about you come try to like be one of the first couple breakers on Whatnot and try to really bring sports to that next level?" So, it's because that's kind of where I came into that mix. And Pokemon and Funko Pops were originally a main thing. So for those of you who don't know, Whatnot is a buy, sell, go live marketplace app. Basically, I would say it's a better version of Instagram, you know, for
I can
breakers
agree.
and buyers. So it kind of has the same, you know, UI user experience. You know, the same, you know, when you've seen it, you know, on there when you go live, it you know, the chat's similar and stuff like that. But you know, you're able to buy and put products in a catalog for users to buy, which is like, to me, it's so, you know, when you're sitting there on live and you have your camera and you have sticky notes and people are like, what product do you have? I can't see. What's your price? You know, and you've got to repeat that like 100 times. So this kind of just alleviates that and kind of gives, you know, the buyer and seller, you know, some, I don't know, good vibes and, you know,
How long have
makes them
you
feel
been on
safe.
What's Not or Whatnot?
So, so
Is it What's
I
Not or
joined,
Whatnot? I'm sorry.
it's
Whatnot.
whatnot.
Okay.
So I've been with Whatnot for about, I think I started breaking in January is when I got brought on. And then obviously I got COVID and, you know, just that kind of stuff. So I kind of like took a step back from breaking. And then when I came back to break, there was like 20 breakers on, right? So they kind of like started ramping up the process. So
Yeah.
um, it's, so yeah, since about January ish. So for about, yeah, about almost 5 months now.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I know. Ralph went on there, and he loved it. I mean, he moved a lot of product. He pulled some nice cards. I was waiting for my invite into his show, and it never came. So I mean, that's kind of happening a lot frequently, man. So I think Ralph is blackballing me, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm just gonna put that out there to the universe,
No,
and
no, no,
It's
no,
funny.
no, 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 not at all. Shout out to Breaking Bangers. And to answer your question, UFC Prism is not inflated. I think I'll buy a case for 1K. Count me in.
that's not a
Yeah,
case. Is it a case or a box at
that's a
1K?
box. They're
Oh, is
pre-selling
that a
boxes
box?
for 1K. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that
Well,
might be a little high.
but you got to think though, right? First year Prism. Think about 2012 Prism basketball. Think about how great and how like that product is. So to me, it might make sense to buy it and kind of, you know, hold on to that
Is
or
Conor
wait.
McGregor in that? Is Conor McGregor in that?
That's
Is
not
he
who
in
you're
that
looking
product?
for, I don't think, is it?
Is that who
No,
we're looking for? Is Bones Jones in there? Like I haven't followed UFC in a while, so I'm just answering random questions. So
you're like maybe like O'Malley. I don't know. I mean,
I mean, like that's the thing. I mean, that's just it's a small niche market, right? UFC obviously it
mhm.
has its millions and millions of fans across the globe, but I mean, it's not as big as the NBA. It's not as big as NFL. It's not as big as MLB, and it's definitely not as big as soccer. Soccer
I
comes
agree.
out this year and it sells for $600 a box, right?
Still a steal.
Pre-sale was probably $500 a box, 450 a
Hmm.
box, right? And so here we are with this product that every hit, I mean, you have 30, 40, $50 cards that you can pull, base cards, out of a Prism soccer set, and it's $600 a box. And so now
Wow.
you're saying UFC for $1,000 a box, and
I
I can't even name who's going to come out of there. Heck, I couldn't name anybody else coming out of the soccer box, but it was so cheap. The entry point
I
was so cheap that it didn't make any sense not to do it. So, I
well,
mean,
mm,
that's my 2 cents.
well, what happens though on like Blowout and Dave and Adams is that they're usually you know, higher, you know, than, you know, on pre-sales.
mhm.
And then, you know, I know on David Adams, I think David Adams will actually refund you the difference. So like, let's say they pre-sell at 1K, a week later, they, you know, drop down to 900K or 9K or $900, sorry. And then they'll give you, you know, the difference, like they'll refund you that. So I know that I've done that before and it kind of makes me feel better about just so I'm locked in. But yeah,
Mm.
it seems a little high.
That seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's backtrack a little bit. I know I don't want to go too much off topic. Muff, I want you to Mike. I want you to finish. How did you talk about your interactions with the Whatnot app, and what do you like most about it, and what do you think is maybe something that maybe we can work on? Because I'll tell you my 2 cents in my first
Yep.
experience, but I want to know yours. You've been doing it a lot longer. I've only done
Yep.
one.
So the two biggest pain points when breaking on Facebook and Instagram is payments
Yeah.
and shipping. Payments and shipping, I think, are the biggest pain in the asses. You know, trying to collect. I mean, I've you know I've built relationships with a lot of, you know, of my members, and a lot they became, you know, they're friends and family to me now. I talk to them every day, and you know, you're like, hey, I'm not getting paid till Friday. Can I pay you Friday, right? And I mean, I've been in, you know, 5, 10K in tabs before with people. I get paid back, you know, because they, you know, they're good, you know, and but that's a huge thing, is to say, you want to break these boxes, and you're on Facebook and you're DMing people and it takes an hour to fill. Whatnot kind of takes that away, and it gives you an app and a platform that has demand built into it, right? So you come onto this app and there's already people that want to buy product, right? You sit on Instagram and you're kind of just waiting. Anybody can come in. My mom can come on in my live if I wanted to. It's like, and I think that's the biggest, advantage.
Man, hey, man, you're building a $10,000-$15,000 tab for your mom, man?
No. But hey, she probably wouldn't she probably wouldn't pay me back. She's done enough for me. So
right, I agree.
Better pull her, a banger, or I'm written off. So
right.
But
but go ahead, continue.
Yeah, but also too, like I said, you come into an app.
Sorry.
And there's built-in demand and stuff like that, and then there's also the ability to get shipping labels generated for you in the back end, right? So that's a huge advantage of, you don't have to collect payments. You don't have to, worry about that or addresses. It's just kind of all built. And once you're done with your live, you've seen it, right? You go into the whatnot.com, and then you see in the back end that there are, the labels generated. Sorry, a message popped up. But yeah, so other than that, I had a guy go live, and first time ever, he does mystery packs, and he said it usually takes about a month and a half to kind of sell all these out on Instagram. About 1,200 followers. Brought him over to the Whatnot app, and he was, his first night he was ripping till 6 a.m. and he sold out of everything, 51 packs. So
it's crazy.
So what is there, like, fees involved? Is there a membership fee? How does that pricing structure?
Nope.
Obviously, Whatnot is, they have to get something out of it, or else, that's just exposure, advertising. How does that kind of work on the seller interface? When how do they eat? They have to eat. Everyone has to eat.
Yeah, there are fees. There's processing and commission fees is associated with that. But obviously, if anyone's interested, we can talk to me, and we can kind of we can discuss that offline. I just don't want to state numbers and stuff like that. But
okay.
But yeah.
No, I got it.
You can tell them the general. You can talk to them about the general fees. Go ahead. You can talk about general fees.
There's a processing and then a commission fee. So the processing is more of like the fee for payment. We just kind of pass that off to you guys. But on the contrary, right? A lot of people say, hey, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, fees, and you're saying, hey, listen, we're giving you a platform with demand, and this is a way for you to grow your business, grow your, there's guys that have 500 followers that'll come onto Whatnot and they grow a full-fledged business, and they're making a ton of money. They're getting allocation because they're buying so much product. So it's just a good way to kind of like, and we've seen some people that'll break on Instagram, and then they'll bring someone on and they'll rip on Whatnot full time. So you kind of like build this little like franchise, to where you can kind of like break in both places. So it's just another opportunity. It's another avenue for someone to come on, meet new breakers and buyers, and kind of like just hang out. And what's great too is that all the comments are in real time. So you can actually connect to your buyers without waiting 10 seconds, for a comment, to appear. And even when let's say you're calling a spot, calling a pack, how many times do you see in those comments that what you see as a someone who's going live and a seller is different than what I see as a buyer, right? Those numbers, hey, I called pack 8, I was there first, and it's like, oh, that wasn't like on my end, it's just like it kind of takes that away. So there's a lot, and you can kind of jump out, and there's Pokemon lives, there's Funko Pop auctions, and a huge advantage too is that we have an auction system. PrizmGawd, I know you've seen that, where you can, if you're trying to sell a pack, you can just start it at $1 and you can auction it. You can sell raw cards, you can sell your slabs. It's just a great way to kind of move products, singles, and just kind of keep it. So I'm
gonna invite Kobe Collector on my show tomorrow. We're gonna sell some slabs. We selling boxes. We selling everything. But you're absolutely right. I will say this platform is bar none. It's like a crazy combination of Instagram, eBay, and like I don't know. It's Instagram and eBay. I think it's probably the best way to kind of put it. I love the live auctions. So I think that's the dopest thing about it. It's personal. people, it's one of those things you can communicate.
Yep.
It's just fun. So I did the first show, and I really didn't want to do past an hour, but just like you said, if you got product on Whatnot, you're selling
Yep. Uh-huh.
You're not gonna. There's not like, hey, you here? You want to sell some packs? People gonna sit here and buy. I will say it sometimes it would go so fast. Like
Yep.
like Kobe Clicker, I'll literally sell. You can list all 36 packs or all 12 packs of hobby packs, and people will literally just buy, and you have to literally go through the list and figure out who was first, who was second, who was third, just so you can make sure there's some type of structure. But it's crazy. It's crazy.
No, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure that invite would get lost in the mail again. So I won't hold my breath.
Oh Lord, got you. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead and finish your story.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, auctions are huge. When I go live, I like to kind of give a show. So how many people on Instagram are just sitting there watching or whatever. And for me, if I'm selling a mosaic, let's say mosaic football solo pack, right? I'm going to auction that off. Let's say it sells. Let's use a month ago's time because I haven't broken in about a month. But $35, $40. Let's say it sells for. That's cool with me. It's retail. I don't buy it. I don't buy it from Target or Walmart. So I'm cool with just kind of keeping something going. And whoever wins that, I'll start the next auction for 2 minutes, and then I'll rip that pack. And by the time that I'm done, the next person's ready to go. So I'm just kind of feeding and just keep something going
That's a
live
good method. I like that
at all
idea.
times. And a lot of times too, right? And you're auctioning a pack off, and you got a Joe Burrow emergent, insert, or you got like a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, rookie card. You're like, all right, guys, whoever wins this is going to get this. Whoever wins this, is going to get these couple cards. And you might sell that pack that was going for $40. You might sell it for 50, 40. And you kind of, it's a great way to kind of move product singles, without having to wait. I mean, we have some Pokemon guys on right now that are selling, first edition boxes, jungle and and some fossil boxes and stuff like that. And, there's 1 minute auctions and these guys are killing it, but I see on eBay, people are selling the same pack, and there's like 3 days left. And it's like, man, you're going to wait 3 days to sell a pack that you could sell in 1 minute, so
he's absolutely right. It moves. It's crazy.
It moves. So
yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know what you guys have done to the buyers that are on the site, but I mean, on the app, but it is a very fast pace breaking. It's a really cool experience. So for the people out there who don't have the resources, I think Whatnot is a really good resource. And also if you're buying, because there's also buying opportunities as well. So because when you talk about putting a card on auction, if I was to put a simple card on auction, I have no idea what the value is. I put it up there and I say, hey, 1 minute. And I may start it off at $1, might start it off at $50 or $20, depending on whatever it is. It moves. I mean, like you said. And then the good thing about it is you receive your money, I think 24 hours after the card is delivered. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah. So, it kind of makes everyone feel safe, especially the buyers, right? Because, you want them to feel comfortable spending money, right? Because there's a lot of money in this industry and it's just getting more and more expensive. So, you don't have to send anyone Venmo, Cash App. You don't need the last 4 digits of someone's phone number to get access to their Venmo, wondering if they're going to ship the card to you or not, So, you'll buy it through PayPal, and for the buyer or for the seller, it automatically goes through. As soon as that auction hits zero, and as soon as someone buys something, your card or your PayPal gets charged. So that makes you feel good. There's no tabs or whatever.
Exactly.
And then once you ship the product out, that the seller doesn't get paid until that product is delivered. So, it kind of makes you feel good that you're kind of incentivized as a seller to get your shit out the door. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way that it's set up.
So there's buyer protections. What about seller protections? I mean, one of the big things that's going around when you sell stuff on Facebook or Instagram is all the chargebacks, even eBay. I mean, is there anything there to kind of protect the seller from that? I mean, in your experience?
Yeah. So as a seller, that's kind of taken on by Whatnot. So you don't have to worry about that. We haven't had any, at least of my knowledge, anybody that's done that. A lot of our buyers are good buyers, and if there are repeat, offenders, I mean, things happen, USPS is crazy. We can all admit that. But if people are repeat offenders or if something happens, they look into that and they have people that kind of monitor that stuff. So it
Yeah.
kind of.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No, I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
saying.
Just jumping in.
No, no, it's all good. But you're fine on that. Like you'll get paid out, and it kind of just makes it. You don't have to really worry about that as a seller. So.
Okay. I mean, that's
Yep.
one of the things, though. I mean, you worry about that. I mean, that's one of the things that plagues, selling cards online, or
I
even
got.
today, so selling cards on eBay, right? I mean, you
Hmm.
send the card out, everything's fine. You send a graded card out, and you get
Yep.
charged back on it, man. So, I mean, as long as there's a protection built in where it's not all for buyer and it's not all for seller, I think it'll be a happy medium there. Especially if you have to wait 24 hours to get your money. I mean, it's a little scary to send your stuff out, but as long as you know that your money's there and you're going to get it after it's delivered, then
Yep.
obviously it brings a little more comfort.
Yep.
Very good point. All right. So for the people out there that are listening and are watching, if you guys have any questions or concerns that you guys want to ask Mike, feel free to ask Mike. Go ahead and type it in the chat and we'll read it out and we'll try to be proactive that way. All right. All right. So Mike, I was going to ask a question because with my experience on whatnot, and I'm still new, I guess Kobe Collector kind of talked about basically the protection. And I think somebody had told me from your base, their camp, basically telling me you guys have like zero tolerance for any of that type of stuff, like for fraud and stuff like that. They'll ban an account. So
Yep.
you guys basically eat the loss, so to speak. And so you protect the seller a little bit. Is that how that kind of goes? Because I know you kind of say you guys
Yeah.
kind of absorb that or no?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of we don't want to open an open invitation for that kind of stuff, but
Of course, of course, of course.
but it, you don't really have to worry essentially as a seller. You can sell your and also too that let's say that there's expensive cards. Let's say you pull like a Tom Brady out of Select like auto or something, and that
Mm-hmm.
card is crazy expensive. You can actually like email support and get as a seller and be like, hey, I want to put insurance on this, and
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of go that route as well to make sure that package is insured, and you're sending a $5,000-$10,000 card out. You want to make sure that that gets in the hands. So yeah, essentially, as a seller, you don't really have to worry about that. I mean, obviously, if you have good reputation, you have high ratings. If you have two or three of those where, hey, I didn't get my package, there is a strike system and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've seen that as well. I'm sure
Yeah.
you're 5 stars. So you know if you get five strikes, you're suspended from selling. So it's kind of like,
Wow.
yeah.
So there you go. So for you guys out there, also I want you to talk about. So walk me through the process to get to if I'm new and I want to start breaking on whatnot. How can I be that guy to start breaking on whatnot? And what's the process? And tell people about this list. I want to know how many people are on this list. I heard
uh
about it.
Yeah, so I mean, the way to get on Whatnot obviously is to, you download the app. In your profile setting for yours, it'll say like schedule because you're a seller, you're onboarded. It'll be apply to host or apply to break, and it's you fill out the application, you put your name, social, where you're breaking, and blah 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 blah, and then that just kind of gets sent off. There is a large list of people on there, so it's not like anybody can just go live. So, as as our outreach team, we try to reach out to, Instagrammers, anybody who we think would be a great fit for. Obviously, you get the guys that have 70 followers and they want to just break, they don't have
Mm-hmm.
anything, but, it's definitely a good opportunity to kind of take advantage of that because there is a giant list. Like if you had, let's say, 20,000 followers and you applied through Whatnot and you didn't talk to me, didn't talk to anyone on the Whatnot team, didn't DM, you know, there you might not get reached out to for a couple of days, maybe a week, depending because there's a lot of people in this list. So definitely like if you're interested, reach out, Moff Cards, DM me. I can help you out. We can talk, try to get you on the platform.
But we gotta get my boy Kobe Collector approved, man. We gotta get him on there. He wants to break and sell some singles. Let my boy, you got free Kobe Collector, free Kobe Collector, free. Man, I'm putting it out there, man. Let's go. Get my boy Kobe Collector approved.
Kobe, did you apply? I can't hear you.
Oh, we're missing out. You gotta take out them AirPods, buddy.
You gotta unmute them, bro.
I told you. No, I didn't mute them. I told
No,
you
I'm
like
just
those
kidding.
AirPods, man. It's tricky, man. It's tricky.
No, I'm just messing. Yeah, I hear you.
No, but
No,
no, I just try to hold on one second. I think we have him coming in. Are you there, Kobe Collector?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay, cool. Finally, we got to get you a mic and some
You hear
headphones, man.
me?
I don't know
You hear me
what.
now or no?
See
yeah.
now, see this is my proof. See, Moth Cards. What I need you to do,
Well, it's
I
because the
need you to
phones.
go ahead and
It's,
approve. You got to approve this guy so he can make some money, so he can buy him some headphones and a mic.
Well, if he sounds and his
but
mic
I
keeps
did.
cutting out, I don't know if that's going to be a good
It was because of
a good experience.
I was on my phone, man, and the phone call
Yep.
came in, and it cut me out, man. But I kept having a question. I was wondering why you weren't hearing me, but I did have a question. So, as a buyer, and you're buying stuff on auction, or you're getting wax, or you're buying packs, or whatever have you, as a buyer, do you have the option to upgrade your shipping at some point, or how does that work
Great
on the
question.
user end, and they're trying to buy
Yeah.
something? Because you just said, and it kind of resonated to me because you said on the back end, the shipping labels are automatically generated after you complete the show, so you can ship everything out. But if you pull something high end and you want to do expedited shipping, or pay for upgraded shipping or
Yep.
what have you, how does that process work?
So the typical method for shipping is every 4 items that you buy, you get, it's like a, what, $3, $4. I forget what the what normal, first class shipping costs. And then obviously as a buyer, if you're buying more things, I mean, I've had people, spend, 10 grand with me in a night, ripping products. And he obviously, like, since there was so many products on his order, it automatically was like priority shipping. So their system is like set up to, like, it's automated to where you have X amount of products or whatever. So it does that. And as a buyer or as a seller, if someone just ripped 10,000 or whatever with you, and you can reach out to support and say, hey, I want to overnight this, or I want to do this with them. So
Right.
reach out to support. We're here. Our team is here to give everybody the best experience. So we definitely want to cater to someone who spent that much money. We want to help everybody out. So if you want to send something, he has a big card, like insurance, stuff like that, reach out to our support team, and we'll be able to get
support at whatnot.com.
Correct.
Listed at the bottom of the website.
Yep.
Hey man, but if it takes 5 days to get back to someone trying to join, how quick is that interface to get back to support when they want to upgrade shipping? Is it a different wavelength there? Is it different customer support that you're dealing with?
I mean, yeah, there's different teams, you know what I mean? But now we'll get back to you, quickly. And like I said too, like, reach out to me as well. I'll be able to kind of ping the team, you know what I mean? So I take a lot on, so I'll be able to, help anybody who wants to jump on.
And I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, man. But I just look at it from all kinds of experience. And I mean, in those questions, the people who have never heard of whatnot, obviously there's going to be pros and cons to everything. But if we can really hit home on a lot of the pros, then obviously we want to get more people over to whatnot. And obviously, I'm going to go in and I'm going to watch Prism's his feed whenever he gives me this invite, or if he goes
Tomorrow. I'm
live.
telling you right now. I'm hold on. I'm live right now. I don't want you to look. I'm gonna pull up the app right now. I'm telling you right now, so you guys on camera and everybody else knows that you've officially been invited to the show tomorrow on the Whatnot app. It's right here. I'm literally, if I go live, it says tomorrow at 8 p.m. It's right there. I'm gonna have Miss PrizmGawds do the video for me. If you want to do the video and just say, do something nice,
But
that's cool too.
can you invite people to the show? I mean, on Instagram, what you can do is you can copy and you can post it in somebody's DM and say, "Hey, come join my feed." So, is there something like that on Whatnot? So maybe he can send me something like that tomorrow when he goes live.
Yeah. So on the app here, there's a little arrow.
Okay.
You click this arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll actually like bring up the the share, and you can just share it.
Oh, it got you. You see? Look, take notes, Ralph.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, so we got a comment from Huey. He said, I use Whatnot, but what I experience sometimes are breakers that are not very knowledgeable about the product they're selling. And just like you spoke about your LCS, sometimes I don't get that feeling. So obviously, we're in a hobby right now, and this is just kind of Micah Breaker, not whatnot speaking, but we're in an industry right now where it's a cash grab, right? So everybody's trying to get a piece of that. Everybody's trying to make money. They know that they could go to Target, Walmart, camp out, get 3 boxes of this, triple their money, and like I said too, when you get into the hobby and you just join, you don't really know that much. You're still in that learning phase.
Yeah.
You jump into breaking, and then there was a point in time where when I first started that I didn't really understand that much. Obviously I've talked to so many people. I've been in all these different groups and listened to podcasts and watch breaks that like I just you don't really gain that knowledge. It kind of takes some time unless you've been in it for a while. So I will say just either give them time or kind of move on to another breaker. We're trying to bring some hobby guys into the mix, and try to give everyone a good experience. So if you don't like the person you're breaking with, prices might be a little high. There's other people that will
just go to
be there for you.
PrizmGawds page.
Right. Go to PrizmGawd. Yeah, he'll
just go to my page.
He'll hook you up. So
he says, "Don't get me wrong, I love the app. I stay up and watch breaks. Shout out to Huey P.
Huey
Good
P,
job.
check him out tomorrow night, 8 p.m. PrizmGawd going live.
Man, where you going live? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask, do y'all do like advertising for the biggest breaks that have happened on the WhatsApp app?
I mean, I know we are running ads and stuff like that, but as far as some of the biggest hit, a lot of some breakers will they'll screen record and stuff like that. We don't have that feature quite yet, but that's in the works. So obviously when breakers pull like big cards, take a picture, tag us in it, we'll post it on our story, stuff like that. So that's kind of.
And what's the biggest break that you've pulled on Whatnot?
The biggest card that I've pulled on Whatnot?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm drawing blanks.
It was that many? I mean, dang, how many monsters
no,
you pulled there, man?
He pulled the 1-on-1 LaMelo Ball.
No. I mean, I was breaking, man. I mean, I did an entire case of Optic in one night when football and that dropped.
Nice.
I was up till 4 a.m. and then went to work at 7 the next day. So it's that. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, there's a lot of product. There's a lot of players. There's a lot of variations and stuff like that. From the top of my head, for myself, the biggest card let's say pull for myself that I didn't film was probably the either a Joe Burrow Nike patch out of 2, Nike patch auto out of black.
Nice.
And then I pulled thanks. And then I pulled a RJ Barrett green disco out of 5 out of Prism Fast Break.
That's pretty nice too. That's pretty nice too.
Yeah, I went on a bender and ripped 6 Prism Fast Breaks, 4 Optic Fast Breaks, and then I got it was 3 a.m. and I was like, I just pulled this RJ Barrett. I was like, and I ripped my National Treasures box. I went on like a 10K, just to the face. I'm sure we've all been there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I did it recently. 9 boxes of Prism hobby. Yeah,
let's go. Hey man,
Woo!
I look at it as like, you go to the casino and you bring $100 and you lose $100, then you're down. But if you come in with like $5,000, and you lose $4,000, there's a possibility you can make that $5,000 back on that $1,000. I mean, it's kind of like, money makes money, and you just got to keep going, because you will get those hits. So yeah.
All right. Man, so I want to say if anybody else has any additional questions, feel free to ask. But I was going to kind of switch the topics up. You guys know what happened today in PSA news, right?
Yep.
How do you guys feel about that? I mean, with the announcement of them buying, what was the name of the company? It started with a G, Jennerman or something like that.
It's an AI grading technology, is what it is.
Yep.
I mean, I think it was coming, right? I remember watching one of
I said it, Jennerman. That's correct.
I remember watching one of Gary Vee's videos, and he was like, one of his big, sport videos that he talks about with all his slabs. But he literally said, somebody came out with, somebody's going to come out and change the game. And if it's the AI technology where every card is, it's not human anymore, it was bound to happen. I mean, there's an investment. There's obviously going to be changes in there, but
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say we've seen it with HDA. We've seen it with GGS, CGC, whatever that is. and they have errors and mix-ups all the time. I mean, you see their nines and they have messed up corners or their centering's off. So
Yep.
how they really gauge or how they tinker with that AI technology. But I think I was reading there's a there's a memo that they sent out to us too through my email, and it says that there's going to be two. They're going to have the AI technology, but they're also going to have a human interface there too. So maybe the AI touches it, and then the human touches it
Yep.
afterwards, because there's two
Hmm.
stages at
Hmm.
that point where they grade the car twice, so to speak, and then it moves over to the next stages. So I'm sorry for cutting you off there. I just,
No, no, it's good.
You're
you
fine.
know, companies are using that right now. And yes, it's okay, but the legitimacy of it and the accuracy of it is still, it leaves a lot to be desired, especially if we've seen it with these other companies. So it would be interesting to see if PSA actually keeps their top of the food chain kind of status once they roll this out, to see what the prices start to look like afterwards.
Yeah, as a guy with about 500 cards at PSA right now, and I have cards from July that haven't even popped yet. I wish that they would just kind of, just get our
Yeah.
cards back to us. I mean, I've been waiting. We're in
Get them
May. I
back
mean,
home.
yeah, I mean,
But on that token though, they are coming up with new ways, right? So they're talking about having not only the California location, they're talking about opening up another warehouse, another grading facility on the East Coast to cater to that population, and then I think they're thinking about opening up a third one as well. And plus, they've added to their California location, they've added a lot of graders.
yep,
Obviously, with Nate Turner coming in, or Nat Turner coming in, and buying, being the owner of PSA now, he has his input
Hmm.
that's going to come in as well. So I think there's a lot of good things happening with PSA. Being a
yeah,
subber myself, I kind of have a in-depth knowledge of kind of what's going on and what the trends are kind of looking like. They're moving through a lot more product now. We see a lot more stuff going into the system. We see a lot more stuff going into grading. I mean, because I mean, if you think about it, they're like 20 million cards behind.
yep,
And
hmm,
so, in order for them to catch up, yes, the suspension, it hurt a lot of people. It made a lot of people think about other ways of investing or other ways of kind of approaching the hobby. But at the same point, it had to happen, right? It was something that was inevitable. There was no
yeah,
way with Prism basketball releasing, with
yep,
Select football releasing, that they were ever going to catch up, because as soon as
Hmm.
they open them floodgates back up, you best believe that they're going to be overwhelmed and bombarded unless
yeah,
they start increasing the prices even more. Which I hope they don't do that, because they're already pricing out some people from wanting to grade. And I've seen my sub levels go down after they did the initial bump. But at the same
yep,
time, it really makes you look at a card and actually question: will I submit this card in to be graded to potentially make a profit, because you're shrinking your margins at that point.
Hmm.
yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, as soon as they announced, do you remember like a week before they changed prices?
Hmm.
There was, all this remnants of like, oh, PSA is going to change prices. PSA is going to upgrade prices. They got 3 months worth of cards in that
Yeah.
week or 2 days, 3 days. You know,
Absolutely. Right before the prices went up.
exactly. So I mean, what do you, and especially with Prism coming out, I mean, everybody's going to
They
sub
had
every
to.
single card.
Yep.
I mean,
Why do you think I
I
have a box? I have boxes full of cards right now.
You
Right now.
you don't know how many bicycles and how many canoes I had to press, because they had a robot, to make sure you were on a robot. So you had to cap the every picture, and there was so many bicycles and cars that you had to click through when we were entering these cards. I didn't have
Yep,
that many. I think I inputted, between those final 2 3 days. I think I did like 3 or 4 thousand cards. But to do that, it took like the whole 36 hours to input, because the site kept crashing. I don't think
yep,
they've ever experienced that kind of traffic on their website ever. And
yep,
even after they uploaded it, there was so many people that were accessing their site that it was still glitchy for about a week or two afterwards, man. It's one of the
Wow.
craziest experience. And I reached out to my rep and I'm like, dude, what's going on?
yep,
Because I haven't got these cards in. What are you going to do for us that are experiencing all these problems? And I think that there was a couple workarounds. But then price increases were crazy, and it slowed down. And then nobody even knew, like, that price
Yep.
increase. We knew a week before that it was going to increase, right? And I was able to
Yep.
tell my public that, hey, get me as many cards. This is the cutoff date. Give me as many cards as you can before this date, because it's going to be crazy the increase. And we knew ahead of time. No one
Mm-hmm.
knew that PSA was going to suspend its services. Like, it literally was overnight. I had orders that were logged in there that I figured that I was going to be able to finish uploading and entering
Yep.
and make the payment for the next morning. And nope, then they wouldn't honor it either, even though they were already inputted in the system. They wouldn't honor it. So, but it
Yep.
wasn't all the way completed to the last stage. So that's a whole another story in itself. But it's crazy because they probably would have had another
Yep.
12,000 or 12 million cards submitted in those 3 days or in that week right before they did that, and it would have just made them go even further behind.
Yeah. I
Which is
mean,
good.
like I
Go
said,
ahead.
I have 500 cards out, and I was sending some. I didn't send any, like, some of the cards you see people sending. It's like, hey, like, you don't need to send that card. But some of the cards I did send, a lot of Mosaic football rookies, the good running backs, J.K. Dobbins, some base stuff. I don't feel bad now that I sent all those cards out at $9 a card back when that was the price point, $12 a card. So I think that when the price increased and a lot of these guys were at $25, you know to me, someone who is waiting on my cards, I feel good. I'm happy that I'm at such a low price point. I don't have any more to sub out right now, and I think that like you said, it's a great way, and it's a barrier, for people to really sit there and think, like, okay, because for me, when I would grade a card, I would look at it in a couple of ways, right? If a PSA 9 was over $60, okay, then that makes sense for me to send out, or if a 10 is a certain level. So that to me, like, that makes sense. But now, if you're subbing a card at $300 for, 2 day, or, what, 600 or $1,000 for walkthrough, it really makes you think, like, okay, should I really send this card out? But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to pick it. You have to pick your poison nowadays, guys, when you're grading, and it's just a whole nother dynamic. I literally have a box, probably have 150 cards. I'm probably going to add to the current cards that Kobe Collector is probably going to submit for me. So I'm probably going to have another 200 cards, probably 300, 400 cards by the time July hits that I'm probably going to be submitting, at some point in times. Because I tell people all the time is, unfortunately, I know I agree with Dave Parker saying that PSA has really shrunk the margins, but you really got to have to change the dynamics of what we're grading and be okay with it. So I think that you look at it like this: if I submit 1,000 cards and I may spend $5,000 on grading, if I have 2 or 3 or maybe 20 cards in there that potentially could be $20,000 cards, or depending on what the grade is, wouldn't you spend $5,000 for a big lot? Even if there's a few cards that maybe you wouldn't send in there to grade, alone, but as a lot, maybe you do. And that's where, you have to figure that out. And, I'm kind of good at that, where I'll submit a bunch of cards, random cards with some nicer cards. And it kind of, it pays for itself a little bit. So I think that you have to kind of change the dynamics of how we're grading. But it does definitely shrink the margins, because worst case scenario, you get a bunch of PSA 9s. And you're like, I spent $5,000 to grade these cards and I'm breaking even. Or you
Yep.
get lucky and then, and it works out better for you. Maybe you make $5 or $10, $20,000, off of $5,000. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to be selective.
I mean, I'm in these.
So
I'm sorry.
no, I'm sorry. We keep on jumping in, man. We almost have to have a tag you're in,
Uh,
kind of button there.
have to hit that mute.
Raise our
But
hand.
I was just gonna say, I bought this card in July, right? It's a Durant rookie card out of Topps, and I paid $30 for it. I sent it back in July to get graded. It just came back last week, but it cost $12 to grade it. I bought the card for $30, and the last one just sold as a PSA 9, sold for $1,500. And so, I mean, yes, they're shrinking margins, and that's the only reason why I bring it up. They're shrinking margins, but if you're buying and grading the right stuff, how much is them margins really going to affect you? Like, if I would have known that that card was going to come back a 9 and it sells for $1,500 and I bought it for $30, then I would have paid the $100 to get it graded. At that point, again,
Yep.
it kind of makes you think about what you're grading and then what you send it in as. To
So how
me,
long?
people always ask. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna. How long did you have that card out of PSA? Like, was it like did
8
you
months.
bought 8 months. So let's say you got that back in 45 days. Let's say you got that back, right? That card would not be at,
No,
would not be
it
at
would not.
$1,500, right? So
I agree.
I had a buddy that November, December of 2020, he was buying Zion. Zion's up. He's probably bought, I don't know, I think he said he bought like hundreds, 200 or whatever. He sent those all to PSA. Had he have got those cards back, because COVID happened, everything shut down, that weight just increased it so much. And had he have got those cards back, he would have sold them for, he sold them, I think, when they were about like $700-800 during that peak of the bubble. And had he have got them back, like, with that Durant, to me, I'm very optimistic. I just let it play out. If you sent a card that, a small rookie and it spiked and crashed and spiked and crashed, to me, like, that's on you. You maybe shouldn't have sent that card because, that player wasn't doing anything, but like, yeah, it makes sense. So.
No, and I tell people all the time, they ask me, well, what grading level do you send your cards on? Well, I'll send it on a bulk because to me, they only appreciate over time. I don't know how many Kobe's I've sent in that I got back, and either they graded an 8 or a 9, or I got a lot of 10s back too. But how much they would be worth today if I would have got them back today as opposed to 3 months ago. And when I got them back 3 months ago, they were selling for all-time highs. And now they're even selling for 3 times what the all-time high was 3 months ago. So to me, the longer they're in there, the better. The money's already spent. You don't have to pay for the grading until they come out. You just forget about it, right? And we started a machine. You talk about 500 cards in grading. I think Rafael has about 1,000 cards in grading with me. I have like 3,500 personal cards in grading, because I pick and choose what goes in there. But it's a machine, right? We talk about it all the time. We talk about knowing your lane. We talk about the different aspects of the hobby that you can get in. You find what you're good at, and you kind of run with it. So we started a machine back in May and July. We just started sending cards in, right? Knowing that eventually, once they started popping out, that we would get them back. But then you talk about COVID. You talk about how many other people were doing that, and how backlogged that they got, and the dates started getting longer and longer and longer. So it's like I said, I love grading personally. That was the reason why I started my submission group, because I just enjoy looking at cards. I enjoy sending them in and seeing what they come back at. So I really enjoy that aspect of it all. And the Whatnot app, maybe I'll hop on there one day when I get 300 card submission back, and I'll hop on Whatnot and do a live auction sale and just see what it goes for. And then we're going to be able to kind of do that market research to see what the sales compared to what you might sell on an eBay, or you might be able to sell on an Instagram. And heck, it might even blow up to something that it might be the preferred choice. And maybe you guys even get a because I've always said Instagram needs a marketplace. It needs a live marketplace with interaction.
Agreed.
And maybe it might be something that integrates into something, a bigger platform that has a huge following. So just shout out to Instagram. That's a little plug right there if you guys want to pick it up. But it might be the go-to, especially if the margins, the fee structure doesn't cut into too much of the profits. And of course, everyone has to eat. I always say that all the time. Everyone has to eat, and I'm okay with that. But if it makes sense, then why not?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's excellent points, guys. All right. All right. So actually, we're at the later part of the show. It's almost a 1 hour chime in. And Mike, we really appreciate you and your support on and I appreciate you guys inviting me to the process of joining the Whatnot app and the Whatnot family, so to speak. We're gonna try to get Kobe Collector on there so he can sell some of them singles. And
how many members are you up to now?
On the app?
Yes, sir.
I don't know the exact number per se, but I would say that we're the largest, selling app, shopping app in this market, so on like the app store.
So users, that's on the buyer side. What about sellers? You said that you kind of have a small community there. Do you know how many sellers you have on there, or that's a?
As far as sellers, I don't know that off the top of my head. But obviously we're still looking to, like I said, bring some hobby guys on. Me breaking, if you break every single day, if you don't have a team to do that, you kind of like burn yourself out. So, it's just kind of like, so if you guys are looking, and, like you said, we'll chat after this, and, appreciate you guys bringing me on, and,
definitely. All right. So next week, guys, we are gonna have somebody on the show next week. We don't know necessarily who it is. We kind of like this is literally was last minute. Me and Mike, we literally chopped it up yesterday. I talked to him this morning, so I'm really thankful that we're able to get these people at the last minute. Like, I mean, realistically, I don't know what else to say, but thank you. You giving up your time. You could be breaking right now, man. What are you doing?
Yeah. And all I gotta say too is like, if you're a seller, a breaker, and you're watching this, or you see whatnot, or someone messages you, just give it a try, right? I mean, if think about the guys with Mark Zuckerberg, who didn't show up to his meeting. Think about the guys that didn't show up whenever he said, "Hey, come to my dorm room, come wherever. I have an idea." The guys that showed up are billionaires. So
Mm-hmm.
I always look at that opportunity. I don't care who it is. If you call me and say, "Hey, Mike, I want to talk to you. I have an idea." I'll be there. I'll listen, because if it's dumb, cool. I wasted an hour of my time. If it's not dumb and it works out, hey, it's something for, it's just another, a way for me to, make some passive income, or try to grow myself. So, just,
Mm-hmm.
try the app out, just try it once. And, if you hate it, never use it again. But, I promise you, you're coming on the second time. So, definitely,
I definitely see
Yeah,
opportunity. I think it's dope. So I mean, I'm gonna invite Kobe Collector on tomorrow with me as I go live for a little bit and do some ripping. I think it's really cool because I mean, last week I did something where I was inviting people when they won to open up their packs with me, and I think if
yep.
you watch some of the video footage I did, like one of the cool things I did last week was a guy. I was like, man, he was gonna pull something. I was like, you're gonna pull something good. You're gonna pull something good. He pulled a blue second year Zion refractor,
Wow.
and on the other side of that was a Quigley auto. So it was just like it was dope. And the same guy that pulled those two cards pulled the Anthony Hardaway out of
Yep.
the XPX box autograph. So it was like just crazy what happened that night on my first day. So I was pretty excited, man. So kudos to everybody that joined my feed that day, and hopefully everybody joins me tomorrow. So it should be fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll be in there. I'll throw some
yeah.
fire and gas emojis for you. So.
Hey, there you go. I need it. Need it. I know I need to be a little bit more proactive on it, man. But I've been so busy, man, with the show, and it just we have a lot going on right now. So
Excuses, man. You don't got to give the world excuses, man. But I do
I'm
want to say
saying, man.
I appreciate you coming on, Mike. I mean, you could be anywhere in the world, man, but you're here with us, man. And
Hey, there we go.
I think what you gave us is some gems, and it's actually something to look forward to. Me and Ralph, we talk all the time about where can we go outside of eBay, because
Yep.
eBay's put so many restrictions. They put for you guys, you have to wait 24 hours. On eBay now, you have to wait 7 to 14 days for a payment to process now as a seller. And so,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were thinking about where do we going to sell now? I mean, we have shows, we have our Instagram, we have our Facebook feeds that we sell stuff on all the time, and we always, bounce ideas back and forth. What's the next great thing that we're going to be able to sell our stuff on? And I appreciate you for enlightening us, or me, because he's done it already,
Yep.
on this new platform. And I just want to say thank you for coming on with us today.
Yes,
We
thank
Yeah.
you
truly
very
Absolutely.
appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. This is actually my first podcast, and 2020 was about learning the hobby, trying to make some money. 2021 is all about networking, growing myself. So if it means that I have to, breaking takes a little bit, I'm going to shows. I was at Dallas show as well. I saw David Kahana in the chat. Shout out to him. He has the was it Jay-Z refractor that you were, I think he was talking with you, PrizmGawd, on that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yep, sure did.
and he won play of the week on Card Talk Pod too. So he bought those cards for dumb cheap years ago, and sold one for a lot of money. So shout out to him for that. But yeah, I appreciate it, you guys, and yeah, I'll be in the Miami show. We're doing a really cool giveaway with Show Your Slabs as well. So if you're in Miami and you're at the show, we're gonna do a giveaway we're gonna give away a slab display with 9 PSA slabs in it as well. So
Nice.
Sick,
so if
man.
you're
Sick.
in Miami, come check it out. And
I'll be in Miami.
I'll probably be walking around with a giant slab display, trying to get talking to people. So you come say what's up,
Hey.
and yeah, I'll stop by your guys' booth and show you guys some love.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there as well. And make sure you guys look for the Culture Collision shirts. We're gonna be there aggressive next week in Miami. So look forward to hanging out with you guys. And man, let's hang out. Let's do it. We'll be in Miami next week. You gotta come out there, Kobe Collector, man. Stop staying at home.
Let's go.
Hey man, Kobe kicked my butt, man. Honestly, I'm staying at home. I'm staying at home, getting fully recovered, man. I got enough headaches here that I got to deal with, man. So it's one of those things where life kicks you in the butt, and you just got to do your best to kind of go through it. I tell people
Yep.
all the time, man. I get a lot of lemons, man. I make better lemonade now than Chick-fil-A. So,
There you go.
so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Cool.
All right, man. Well, good night. Prism God saying good night, guys. We appreciate you guys joining us, and make sure you check us out next week, same time, same people, 8 p.m. Maybe a new guest. I can't tell you who it's going to be, but it'll be probably last second. So, hey, that's
Peace.
it.
Have a good
All
one,
Peace.
man.
right.
Peace.
See you guys.
Peace.
Thank you.
All right, man. Good night.
Later.